All right. How's it going? So, in this video, I want to talk about feelings, emotions, and why you should feel everything. And this is challenging because a lot of times, whether consciously or subliminally or unconsciously, we're taught, especially men, that you shouldn't feel your feelings. And it may not even be that explicit, like I just mentioned. It may be more of like, man up, or keep going, hustle harder, avoid the distractions, keep moving forward, right? But if you look at emotions, right, like imagine, you ever have one of it's like one of those rubber hands. If you know what I'm talking about, you put it on your finger and you would, there's like a string attached. It's like the whole thing's like some sort of rubber and it's sticky. And you would throw it and it would stick to the wall. And it's this little miniature hand on this string and you throw it around and it slaps to things, right? I used to have that when I was a kid. And you're slapping all this stuff with it. And the thing is just getting filthy. It just gets covered in dirt and hair and lint, whatever you're throwing it at, it picks it up. So imagine your emotions the same way, that you're moving through life and you are that hand, you are that sticky substance. And these emotions, these things that are happening to you, whether externally or internally, through your story making process of your brain, it clings to you, it sticks to you, these emotions. Anger, sadness, joy, all these feelings. And typically it's the disempowering ones, but not all the time. Sometimes it's grief or mourning of some sort. And if you don't process it, then it sticks with you. And then what happens is we get triggered by things that may be related to the root source, right? So if you've ever been in a situation where someone has said something or a situation has played out in some way, shape, or form, and you may not have realized it in the moment, but it reminded you of something that really messed you up in the past. And then that acts as a trigger, and it's like a valve is opened, and all these emotions come pouring out. You ever felt that way? And a lot of times that trigger is a mirrored reflection of something we experienced in the past that really created almost like a groove in our emotions and like the pattern of how we were living at the time. And then what happens is we project. And so this is something I've been guilty of. I'm sure we all have, but where someone does something, usually is someone or a situation, and we project onto that situation. Our expectations or our experiences of the past get projected onto this moment. I've had situations where I've been a victim of projection, where someone's lashed out at me. And I'm like, whoa. Like, what just happened was nothing, I feel that was nothing of such gravitous weight. Is that even a word? I don't know. Of such gravity that to have an effect on you like that. And so what I'm trying to get at with this is that you need to feel all the emotions that come up. There's this book I have right here called Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. And the whole idea, I didn't finish the book, but the concept is that everything that comes up, every emotion that comes up, should be felt, surrendered to, and then subsequently let go of. And then so what happens is you let go of one emotion, and it's like, have you ever seen one of those waterfalls? Those little just like those little fountains with waterfalls, and it trickles down one step to the next. Your emotions are like that too. And imagine your energy as the water. And you're going through each step of emotion until you fall back into the pool of consciousness existence, right? And so whenever you feel an emotion come up, now I'm paying special attention to the disempowering emotions. Like earlier this morning, I felt the emotion of anger come up. And note how I use that, like how I say that, like not I am angry. And I attach myself to the identity of anger, but instead saying, I felt the emotion of anger. It's not me, it's a feeling, it's like a cloud in the sky. I felt the emotion of anger this morning. And I was like, damn, man. What do I do with this? And the initial instinct is to escape it or to avoid it, to do something to distract myself. I've noticed lately I've been really in my phone, scrolling. And that's not typical to this extent. And so I can look for clues as to why I'm using avoidance as a mechanism to avoid feeling that emotion. And so I was like, okay, let's feel it. And sure enough, at the day, without resisting the emotion but letting it sit there, I was able to identify, like, okay, I feel the anger in my chest. I feel like this clenching in my chest. Let me feel that. And I'm still new to this process of letting go. But fast forward to, I don't know, an hour ago, less, maybe like 35 minutes ago, I was sitting on the couch watching this show right now called Invincible on Amazon Prime. Shout out. And I just started crying. Something in that show flipped a switch for me and it acted as a catalyst for that. And so I'm feeling a lot better, a lot lighter now, having released that emotion. And this isn't a video about like men shouldn't cry. Like, I mean, men should be able to cry. Everybody should be able to cry. This is not should be able to. It's everyone's right too, right? Now, no, I don't cry on camera. I'm not crying to you. There's one thing that this guy I used to know said. He said, "Show your scars, not your wounds." And so I'm talking to you in retrospect now, looking back. I'm not one to put it all out there in the moment. That's up to us to experience on our own time. But it's important to feel all these emotions. First, feel them before we try to justify or investigate them. Because then that can take us out of the experience of the feeling of the sensation. And so you need to feel all the emotions, everything that comes up, even when it's unpleasant. And find an outlet for yourself that's healthy to express that. Whether it's going for a run, whether it's writing, whatever it is. I've noticed that, I was doing planks earlier when I was watching that show. I did a plank. And that tightness, that exertion helped me kind of like release the dam and help the emotions flow through. And one practice I did with my men's group was we would do this thing. It kind of reminded me of Fight Club. But it was a bunch of us, we'd all get there. A lot of times we were shirtless. And we'd hold these, they use them in martial arts, like these, I don't know, it's not a punching bag, but you hold on to it and people punch it or kick it. So there's this thing you hold on to. And one at a time, one person would go in the center and explain what was coming up for them. And we'd do this in such a way where it's not bullying. We'd preface it in such a way that we'd really tap into that trigger for them. Whatever that emotion was that they were avoiding, whatever that thing was that was bothering them, we would create like a mock scenario where we were bringing that to life. And so it would seem like bullying if you didn't know the context. We're really prying at this person. It's all voluntary, of course, consensual. To really get them to feel this, to visualize it, to feel the emotion in their body. And then when they felt ready, and when you could see the fire in someone's eyes really light up when they're all amped up, and then we would have a couple guys hold on to those punching bags or whatever they were called, and then they would just wail at it and just get all that emotion, that energy out of themselves to the point where they were completely exhausted. And so we would keep pushing them, not physically pushing them, but we'd hold the bag as they punched or kicked or whatever. And we had some pretty strong guys, so it was pretty wild. And until they got completely exerted physically. And then once you're completely physically exhausted, that's where there's a moment of surrender. Now you can do this voluntarily without having to go to that extreme, but that is one example of a way to do it, is really push yourself. And it doesn't have to be something as so drastic as that. It could just be sitting with yourself, writing until you get it all out of you, until you exert yourself, until you exhaust that source of energy, right? Because emotion is energy. Where focus goes, energy flows. And a lot of times, I know for me, my focus has gone in one direction that didn't serve me. And so I'm learning, it's a process of feeling what's coming up, respecting it. And I was just saying there earlier, the thought came up, or in this particular situation I was thinking about, the thought came up is, you deserve better than this. And that was a beautiful place to get to. It took a while to reach that point, and I'm still processing and working through that. But that came out of surrender. And not to confuse surrender with giving up, but giving in to what you're feeling. And realize that that too is a part of you. You should respect that. So give that some thought whenever you feel an emotion coming up. Sit with that. Surrender to that. Let go of that. And watch as you become more attuned to not only your own emotions, but the emotions of others around you. I've really tuned my instrument of feeling. And maybe it's because I'm an empath or what have you, but so I can feel people's emotions around me, and I'm becoming better at not confusing those from my own. Checking in with myself, being self-aware enough to know, okay, that's not me, that's them. I have nothing to do with that. It's not up to me to fix. I can be here for support if needed or asked, but it's not up to me. I have to help me. Fill your own cup first, type of thing. And so as you do this process, you begin to tune your own instrument. Find the resonance, the frequency at which you vibrate at. And you're able to help others just by being in your own presence, by being self-aware, by taking care of yourself. Others will feel that too. So hopefully this has been of some help, and I'll see you in the next video.